Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight with us. I am April, and I'm going to be your host and tell you a bit about this study. Over the course of TreePeople's 50 years, more than 3 million people have been supported to learn and take environmental action. By planting and caring for trees and forests, mountains, parks, and our own neighborhoods, we believe that we all possess the power to improve our environment. We're inviting you to participate in our LA residential landscape diversity study because you've been involved with TreePeople in the past. Today's presentation will last around 20 to 25 minutes, including a short question and answer section at the end. So if you could hold your questions until then, that would be great. Thank you so much. We'll get into more of the detail on the goals of the study and how you can participate in a moment, but first I want to quickly acknowledge the unceded land in which we live and work here in LA County. With great respect, TreePeople acknowledges the Tongva people as the traditional caretakers of Tovangar, the Tongva world, which includes the Los Angeles Basin, South Channel Islands, San Gabriel and Pomona Valleys, and portions of Orange, San Bernardino, and Riverside counties. TreePeople works and resides within these lands. As an organization located on unceded Tongva land, we pay our respects to the ancestors, elders, and our relatives and relations, past, present, and emerging. By offering this land acknowledgement, we also affirm Indigenous sovereignty and will work to hold our organization more accountable to the needs of American Indian peoples. Take a moment to notice the air we breathe and the ground on which we move. The plants, the trees, rocks and minerals, the fungi and the mushrooms, and all living beings, and the water which gives us all life. We recognize that we are part and one with the earth and a part of all who inhabit it. Thank you. Now let's move on to an overview of what we plan to cover today. We will talk about our study goals and timeline, then what we're asking from you, what will be measured, and what impacts, if any, there will be to your yard from sampling process, how we will thank you, and the next steps for participating if you're on board at that point, followed by a question and answer forum and some resources that we'll share with you. Why study landscape diversity in LA? Understanding the diversity of our residential landscapes in LA will help us to better understand our urban environment in general and how to accelerate our resistance to environmental harms. The more different kinds of life we can support and the healthier our soils are, the better equipped our land and ecosystems will be to endure the effects of a changing climate and pollution. Investigating the status of soil health gives all stakeholders a foundation for sharing knowledge and collaborating on effective approaches to better land management and resilience outcomes. This study will contribute to solutions focused on increasing things like soil health, reducing flooding and improving water quality, carbon capture, and our capacity to mitigate and adapt to rising temperatures and extreme weather events. We plan to visit Los Angeles yards throughout the winter, spring, and summer of 2024 to measure the biodiversity and soil health across many residential landscapes. These are our partners at the bottom here. Funding for this study comes from Accelerate Resilience L.A., or ARLA, and in addition to TreePeople, involves the U.S. Forest Service, Cal State Long Beach, and Cal State Los Angeles. Here's a map of the areas that we're most interested in researching. The orange areas show where the sampling that we've just been talking about will take place. And later in the year, we will also be working on a more in-depth soil health sampling component with the USDA Natural Resource Conservation Service, or NRCS, which involves digging pit holes on participants' properties. So the darker orange areas on the map show where this part of the study is going to be focused. And as it will require large sampling pits, roughly like the size needed to plant a tree, we will be offering free installation of a tree and/or native plants in that sampled area as part of that participant compensation. This is the question that you answered on the Google intake form about receiving info on additional study components. So if you live within the darker orange regions, we will contact you with an invitation to be a double, or what we like to call a super participant. So what are we asking from you? In this initiative, we're asking you to make your outdoor spaces available to our research team for a one-time visit that will last approximately 4 hours. The team will observe and sample whatever outdoor space you are comfortable giving us access to, which means that we can sample your front yard, backyard, side, patio, parkway, or all of the above. You do not need to have a traditional lawn to participate, and there's no size requirement either, because we're interested in studying outdoor spaces of many different shapes and sizes and a variety of land covers, including grass, native plant landscapes, gravel, mulch, trees, shrubs, xeriscaping, and artificial turf. In total, 4 to 6 researchers will come to your property to sample and speak with you, 2 technicians from the U.S. Forest Service, 1 researching student from Cal State L.A., that's me, April, and 1 to 3 TreePeople staff as well, acting as facilitators and participant support. We would prefer that someone is home when we visit because our research team would really like your input and suggestions on sampling areas and to interview you briefly about how you interact with your outdoor spaces. We ask that the interview aspect of this study be auto-recorded as well so that we can capture and reference any conversation in full, but this is voluntary. We can also address any questions you may have during that time. You are welcome and encouraged to discuss your property with the research team and to observe and discuss the sampling process with them. What will be measured and how might that sampling process impact your yard? The research team will take note of any plant life, bird species, and insects encountered on your property. They will also test the soil temperature, pH level, water infiltration, compaction, and other properties of your soil. More detailed information on the specific soil tests that will be performed can be found on our participant guide to soil tests document, which we'll include in an email following the presentation. The team will remove approximately 2 gallons of soil for laboratory testing, which is about less than half of a 5-gallon bucket. Our soil probe, which is pictured here, will take small plug samples of soil throughout the approved sample areas of your property. This tool is approximately 2 inches wide and 10 inches long. Afterward, the removed soil will be replaced with high-quality amended soil, and all of our equipment and sampling debris will be removed. So what will you get in return for your participation? Well, as a thank you, you will receive a $20 gift card, the option of a free professional one-on-one consultation from one of our environmental scientists to improve the soil at your property, one who is pictured right here, access to the data collected on your property, as well as the final results of the study when they are published, and the opportunity to share your feedback and suggestions on the project, which we consider very valuable to understanding your personal thoughts and feelings about the study and your experience. So, if this all sounds great and you would like to participate, we ask that you go ahead and drop your email in the chat here, and we'll send over the participant agreement for you to review and sign, as well as the more detailed soil test guide that I mentioned earlier. After you sign the agreement, we'll reach out to schedule a visit to your property during the Monday through Friday 9 to 5 regular work week schedule. We'll notify you at least a week in advance of the scheduled sampling day and time once it's confirmed, and send an additional reminder the day before the sampling takes place. And that is it. Thank you. Thank you all for joining us. And, those who have questions can stay on after. I'm going to share a couple of closing resources, and then we'll end the recording and open up the forum to answer any further questions that you have. So the lasoil.org, that is our initiative website. There's a huge FAQ section there that may be helpful to folks if you had more, logistics questions or things like that. And as well as the list of free land management classes that TreePeople offers, which includes best practices for soil health, and TreePeople's Mulch, Protect, and Grow report, which is specifically about meeting Los Angeles's soil needs, and that's via the LA Urban Soil Collaborative, which is, the housing entity that's doing this study.